Welcome to Season 3 of the Retail Tea Break podcast. My name is Melissa Moore, the Retail Advisor, and each week I'll be joined by industry experts, retailers, and product creators to decode the myths, share knowledge, and give you an insight into the industry. So grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and listen in to Season 3 of the Retail Tea Break podcast. Today's episode of the Retail Tea Break podcast is sponsored by Champion Green. I'm joined by Jenny Johnson, Marketing Manager for Kilkenny Design, one of the founding members of Champion Green. And I'm also joined by Sheelin Conlon, founder of The Kind, a sustainable lifestyle retail store. Ladies, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Retail Tea Break podcast.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
So I'm going to jump straight in because I'm really excited today. It's the week of Black Friday. We're nearly at Cyber Monday. This is a really important conversation. So Jenny, for those that may not know, tell us a little bit about Champion Green.
Yeah, so Champion Green, I suppose, is a support local initiative is what we call it. And what the hell does that mean? I suppose, for people listening, and they're like, what does that mean? Really, we're here to try and inspire people to buy local, whether that's clicking local if you're shopping online, or going into your local store down the street, or even just hiring your local service provider. So we're really about trying to educate people on the benefits of supporting local and shopping local, and then inspiring people to do that. Champion Green came about, it was founded by Kilkenny Design in 2020. Marion O'Gorman, our founder and chairperson of Kilkenny Design, massively passionate in this space, such a trailblazer and, huge supporter of local and Irish makers, designers, craft makers, and so on. She was the founding member, Kilkenny Designer, the founding member. And then we couldn't do it without the support of our sponsor, which is Visa. And then we also have some trade partners, so organizations like Retail Excellence Ireland, AIB Merchant Services, Small Firms Association, Dublin Chambers, and so on. So all of these organizations together make up Champion Green, and it really is that movement to try and encourage people to support local.
That's fantastic. And actually what I really noticed when this was launched a few years ago is that coming together. It's one movement. It's about supporting every small business, as you say, in your area, and supporting Irish like that. So it's lovely to see that you have had the backing, and I think that's why it's been such an incredible movement that's really lasted. Obviously started during COVID, but it's nice as we come out of it, and there's so much going on now that we're still talking about the same message, which is wonderful. Sheelin, tell us a bit about your business and how you got started.
So I actually started The Kind in 2019 after returning home from living away in Singapore for 4 years. So I always knew I wanted to start my own business, but I never really had an idea that resonated with me. And I think it's always about trying to find that idea. And while I was living in Singapore, I experienced what was living in a thick haze, which covered the country for about 3 months. So it was from September to December when I got there. And that was caused by deforestation of palm oil plantations. So I knew nothing about this at all. This was completely new news to me. I couldn't believe that a lot of Southeast Asia is covered in this, haze, which is like being in a fire. And I didn't understand, why I'd never really heard about that living in Ireland. So I started looking into what that meant, why that was happening, and found out, the kind of industry of palm oil and how palm oil is used in such a huge amount of products, like your everyday products, like your chocolate spreads, or, could be in your shampoos or in your toothpaste even, so I started looking at kind of what the ingredients were in products, started looking to try and find some more natural alternatives. And when I returned to Ireland, I found a whole host of amazing plastic-free and eco-friendly alternatives. So I started making swaps. Initially, it was kind of bathroom items that I swapped out. So things like natural deodorants or shampoo bars, then onto some cleaning products. So using, like amber glass bottles with plastic-free drops or more eco cleaning solutions. And just slowly, I've been swapping out different items and really enjoying, testing and researching all of these new products. So initially it started as more of like a zero waste lifestyle store, which I realized was quite impossible because it's really hard to be, entirely zero waste. I think that's quite, idealistic, but maybe not achievable for people. So I've moved towards it being a sustainable lifestyle store now. So that's all about being kind to your mind, your body, and the planet, and doing what's sustainable for you in each of those areas.
It sounds really achievable, even those tiny steps you talk about there. I'm thinking myself, the shampoo, the cleaning products, little steps, but actually it's making a huge impact. And I know this is definitely something I want to talk to you a bit more. It's something that's so important to all of us as we move forward, that I think this whole sustainable, and I say that in inverted commas, it isn't just a trend anymore. I think a few years ago we spoke about it as a trend. It's definitely a movement now, and something that's so important within our industry, but also for all of us at home. So we're definitely going to come back to that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sheelin. Jenny, over the last few years, we said Champion Green was started in 2020, bang smack in the middle of the pandemic. But you've run a competition for the last few years, and every year you've given an Irish brand this incredible, and I have to say that it's been an amazing opportunity to open up a pop-up shop in a key retail location. But you've also given the winner this amazing access to incredible mentors and supports. And obviously then on top of that, they've had this incredible kind of PR opportunity. Tell us a little bit more about this year's competition.
Yeah, so like you say, we've run this for a number of years now, and I suppose it came about really as it was a discussion that started around, there was a lot of really cool up and coming Irish businesses, but they were predominantly e-commerce only, and we were chatting to them, and a lot of them were kind of telling us how difficult it was to make the move into bricks and mortar, or to just take that leap of faith, I suppose, and in particular with the year of COVID, or even now with rising costs, and just how expensive it can be to do that and to take that leap and to just go into the unknown. So that's sort of where it came from. It was this discussion around, well, how can Champion Green support that, and how can we give these businesses a platform really for exposure or PR, or just to meet customers and to test the water. And that's where it started from, and Sheelin knows well how it ends, but it really was around, like this year, for example, very kindly sponsored by Aviva, who donated the space in Blackrock in Dublin, which again, as Sheelin mentioned, brilliant location. And then there's a whole load of other kind of services that come with that. So it's not just here's a unit and go and make it happen. There are a number of supports around, from An Post, for example, in terms of packaging and shipping.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Rockall, who very kindly supported with the fit out of the unit.
Wow.
Obviously, Aviva gave the unit rent and rates free for a period of 6 months. And that was another thing that was really important to us. We really wanted to make sure that it wasn't a very short-term project, because it's difficult for businesses to commit to something like this. And if it's only 3 or 4 weeks, it's quite challenging to get it set up and then be gone again almost as quickly as you're in.
That's actually really interesting, because I think a lot of people think, oh, just for Christmas, like you heard the adverts over the years about a dog not just being for Christmas, being for life. And I love the fact that, as you've said, this is a longer period. This is about bedding down in an area, getting used to the customers in the area, and getting a feel for the store, but also then you're having repeat customers, which of course is the key there to longevity and having a sustainable business, is being there, but also embedding yourself in the community. And this year's location in Blackrock is perfect for that. There's a wonderful community there. It's also incredibly accessible. So I absolutely agree. It's been so important that this hasn't just been kind of a 2-week in the run up to Christmas thing. It's been a real long-term success for people.
100%. And we've had no pressure now, Sheelin, but we've had some amazing businesses come through this program. So like Jill and Jill won it a couple of years ago. Another cool brand, Amber Eyewear, last year, who do blue light glasses and sunglasses. And they really did get a great platform from the PR side of it, and awareness and so on, but also the chance to just meet customers and get that customer insight and talk to them and understand, well, why are you buying this? And just to get that face-to-face interaction that's so important in retail businesses, I think is a brilliant opportunity. So yeah, we ran that this year, and obviously the Kind were the very deserving winners this year. So really excited about that, and seeing Sheelin now go into the store and open the doors. It's brilliant project to be involved in, and lovely to see the result of that.
That's so excited. And so Sheelin, take us back then, almost up to today. So as you said, you were starting to kind of do your research, starting to use products yourself, whether that was the shampoo or the cleaning products. What have those kind of interim years been like, right up to recently, when you obviously won the competition and you opened in Blackrock recently?
Yeah, so I actually, when I started in 2019, I had an opportunity to take over a pop-up shop for Christmas, and that went incredibly well. And I sort of stuck around and stayed in that shop. It was always still a pop-up, and I think that is something that's difficult enough for retailers, is the commitment, to a longer term lease. So the pop-up sort of model worked for me at that time, but at the same time, it is important for customers to know that they can find you and that you're kind of established there long term. So actually, funnily enough, everyone that comes into the shop now in Blackrock has been asking, is this a pop-up? Is this a pop-up? And I'm like, well, it's definitely 6 months, but we're going to see how it goes. And hopefully, I was like, I don't want to move this furniture again. So if I can just stay here as I am, that will be fine. Maybe no one will notice. But I had the shop in the city centre for 2 years, and I was trading sort of through COVID, primarily online, obviously, because retail kept opening and closing. It was only open for kind of short periods. And the Champion Green movement was absolutely huge for me, because there was such a movement towards shopping local, supporting local. And that really, I think, kept, my business certainly, in business. So people were really keen to support Irish and to support other Irish brands. So I think that's become hugely important to people. Even, the other day in Blackrock, a woman was asking me about certain products. I'm not 100% Irish. There's probably about 60% of my products that are Irish now. I always do look at Irish first, where possible. But I like to also, support other independent, amazing makers that might not be based here. So I have very good relationships, with a few suppliers that I've been working with over the last few years that are in the UK, for example, or, in Europe. So I opened up in Blackrock. So sorry, I was trading in city centre until January this year. And then I moved online because the building that I was in was due to be turned into a hotel. That was always the case, but I just had no security, no certainty. So I moved entirely online, and then the whole world sort of moved back to real life again, literally at that time. I was like, oh no, I think I've done this wrong. So I've been trading online for the last sort of 8-9 months. And I think globally, there's just been such a decline in online. People really want to get back out into stores. They want to touch the products, smell the products. All of my products smell amazing. So, and just be back in real life interacting with people. So I opened in Blackrock just over, God, is it a week, 2 weeks now? Pretty close, last 2 weeks, I suppose. And I've been getting ready to get set up there for the last sort of month. And it's just crazy how quickly everything can change. Like in September, I was kind of gearing up mentally for, Christmas online, and trying to think about how I was going to be able to demonstrate products, what the demand was going to be, what my product range was going to be. And then, overnight I had, the amazing opportunity, Jenny delivered the news to me. I was on Zoom. I couldn't believe it. And yeah, I had the amazing opportunity to be the winner of this competition and to open up. So it's been so fantastic. I think I mentioned to you already, just interacting with people, seeing customers, seeing how people explore the shop, what they're picking up, like how things sell maybe better in person than they do online. The community in Blackrock has just been incredible, so supportive. Other small businesses around the area have come in and supported me already. And it's just been really, really nice to be back in retail. Retail's tough. Yeah. It's, exhausting, but you also get a lot from it. Like I'm getting like just buzzing, going into work, chatting with people, and just seeing such a really warm, fantastic, welcoming response has been really nice.
That's incredible. And actually, the way you describe it there is the true essence of retail, that you're within this incredible community that's very supportive. You're in a shopping center, which for you is probably a little bit different. And I think there's a lot of people out there that might be online that, as you even said, kind of off a microphone earlier, you would never have thought about it as shopping center, but actually it's old-fashioned retail at its best, because you have this incredible supportive community around you. I love the way you also describe that you have research. It's free research, watching people pick up a product, touch and feel the product, read the back of things, ask questions. And like, you can't buy that. That's really priceless kind of research for you to kind of move your business forward, whatever the kind of next couple of years looks like. And I think that's really lovely. And I'm delighted that you've kind of seen that as an extra opportunity. It's not just about having this physical presence, which is so important right now, but also like you seem like you're taking it all in. I know it's exhausting. Yeah. Retail is, but it's lovely that it's all encompassing, that you're really enjoying the whole experience.
Yeah, like I suppose I do see my job as being sort of representative of the brands that I stock. So it is really important for me to communicate why those brands are so great. And I think sometimes when it's your own brand, your own product, it can be difficult to market yourself and to big yourself up. So I really see it as my job to kind of champion those other brands, and to explain to customers as to why they should also get behind them and why they're such an amazing brand. So, it's really nice. I love like what I'm doing. I used to work in advertising, and it's really nice to be able to actually work selling products that I really truly believe in. So that's been, a breath of fresh air.
Oh, I love it. It sounds wonderful. It's really retail at its best. But Jenny, I suppose we can't avoid the elephant in the room. It's Black Friday week. We've had Singles Day on the 11th of November. We're in this chaos, and I suppose I call it that on purpose. We've seen over the last 2 years this ramping up of advertising, of noise on social media. It's in the papers, it's on the radio. Everybody knows the term Black Friday now. And I think the fear is, and I know Champion Greens really brought this to all our attention, that actually so much money leaves Ireland at this time of year. We buy online abroad. We're sending money technically abroad to other retailers, to other suppliers, and therefore that money is not being spent here. So how important is it, as Champion Green says, to turn Black Friday green, to keep the money in the country?
Oh my gosh, like I'm so passionate about this. It's beyond important. There's loads of stats which we can talk about. For every €1 spent in the local economy, at least €2.50 is recirculated in the local economy. Obviously, if you spend money abroad, that money leaves the country and that's it, it's gone. But I suppose, even just kind of intuitively, like we know that when we support local, it's somebody literally doing a happy dance when they get that sale. It's a local family, it's local people benefiting from that, it's supporting jobs and communities. And I suppose one of the rhetorics that we're kind of talking about this year, and it seems quite harsh, but I think it's the unfortunate reality we're facing into, if we don't support businesses this year and now when they really need it, they're not going to be around next year, so your favorite local coffee shop or your favorite local store down the high street or service provider or whatever that is, really our message is, if you want them here next year, you've got to support them now. And, we're very aware that we're all feeling the pinch. You know, we know the costs are rising. We know businesses especially are really facing into a hard winter, you know, of increased energy prices and so on. So this is not about asking people to spend huge amounts of money locally. It's about really just, I suppose what we're trying to do is ask people to think consciously about where you're spending your money, and diverting even a small proportion of your overall spend to local businesses, so that, you know, we can kind of give them that support now when they need it, especially into the new year, when we at least believe it's going to be tougher again. You know, Christmas for retail, as we know, is busy, but it's about those other businesses, hospitality, coffee shops, your local hairdresser. You know, January can be a very quiet month for a lot of those businesses. So just thinking about where the money is being spent and how you can divert even a small proportion of that. Or even, you know, very simple things like supporting them on social media. You know, it doesn't have to be an actual spend, but, you know, how can you share your top 5 local businesses? So we're trying to kind of implement initiatives like, you know, your top 5 local businesses, and let's share it once a month, for example, or these kind of a movement, I suppose, on social media. How can we kickstart that, you know, as Champion Green, and get people to get behind it and back it? And, you know, we mentioned earlier, we started in 2020, and I suppose we definitely saw a huge positive sentiment around when we were kind of going through the pandemic. People just knew that they needed to support local, and everybody got behind it. And we've kind of felt, I suppose, a little dip more recently in that sentiment. And I suppose what we're trying to do now in the run up to Green Friday, as we call it, we want to turn Black Friday green, and we want to really get behind that movement and get people to support it, and try and just, you know, educate people and be the voice out there in the media saying, you know, support local, shop local, click local. And yeah, let's turn Black Friday green. Let's get behind our local businesses.
It's so important. And actually, you say you're passionate, it makes me quite emotional, because I suppose, like so many people watching and listening, I know the retailers out there, and as you say, even the coffee shops that will not be there in the new year, because normally, as you said, this time of year we go out, we shop, we buy a coffee, we meet people for lunch. That money gets invested to pay the wages in January and February to keep people going until we almost get out again in the spring. But that money's been diverted immediately to pay these, you know, energy bills, to just keep the lights on. Therefore, there may not be, you know, the extra money to pay wages, and therefore employment won't be there. The shops and the coffee shops may not be there. So I do think there's an urgent need to do this, but I love the idea, Jenny, that it doesn't even have to be physically paying for something, because as you said, money is tight for so many people, but doing that extra minute or two on social media to share the shops, the coffee shops, share their offers, or share the fact that they might be having an evening in the run up to Christmas is incredible, because we see the importance of social media. Massive business pays an awful lot of money for advertising at this time of year, but it's lovely to know that from the comfort of your office or your sofa, that actually you can really make the difference to your local shop, or even service, as you said earlier. And that's a fascinating one as well. A lot of services at this time of year, you know, might have vouchers for next year, and even if you can't afford to buy one of those, support them, give them a shout out, really kind of big them up. And I think that's what makes kind of Champion Green so special, that it really is about keeping the lights on, you know, up and down the country, on our main streets, in our villages and towns. And it really, more than ever this year, is so important.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we feel very passionately about it, and it really is that, like, literally helping businesses keep the lights on. And, you know, we know it's tough right now, so we're really going to do everything we can to get behind it and support, but we obviously need consumers and people out there to support in whichever way they can, whether that's physically, you know, spending money or buying something locally, or, like we said, just supporting on things like social media, word of mouth. You know, we know that's the strongest referral that any business can get. So even that, you know, it's just recommending your favorite local business to your friends and family.
And actually, on that, it's really important to state then, leave a review. It doesn't take, you know, more than a minute. Jump online if you can, leave a review on the website, on the Google reviews, whatever it might be, because again, that makes people do that little happy dance, to know that they've been seen and recognized, to know they've done a good job. That will also keep them going over the next few weeks as well. So Jenny, it's 100%. It's so important that we really push through the next few weeks now. Keep it local for everyone, and support in any little way we can at all. But Shane, the other meaning behind Green Friday, and I wanted to touch on this because Green Friday, of course, shopping local first and foremost, but the other meaning behind Green Friday is this drive to be more sustainable, to be more conscious about what we're consuming. So whether that's where we're buying, you know, where the items originally come from, how it's made, how it's sourced. Talk to me about kind of the other version of Green Friday, and just actually with what you sell and what you believe in, it's perfect to kind of, for you more than anyone, to talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like with Green Friday, it's all about, you know, being a bit more conscious as well about what you're buying. So I think obviously Black Friday is just a global movement now, and it's promoting, you know, mass consumerism and, like, I suppose very, very heavily discounted items, which, you know, puts small businesses under a lot of pressure as well. So I really feel like for Green Friday, it's also about, yeah, shopping more consciously, just thinking about, is it something that you really need? If it is something that you really need, great. Maybe also look at where it's made, where it's sourced. Obviously, it is great to be able to support Irish First. You know, Jenny's just talked about how that can impact, you know, the economy and, you know, promote and provide jobs here in Ireland. So and then I suppose there's a big movement at the moment, like fast fashion is really in the spotlight when it comes to greenwashing. And I think it's important, you know, to recognize that it's not just greenwashing happening in fashion, you know, it's greenwashing happening everywhere across the board. So I think I explained to you before, Melissa, there was a story I told you about how one Christmas, my mum got a gift from my auntie of, you know, what looked like a really nice solid shampoo and conditioner gift set. So, you know, it looked very eco-friendly and natural. It was packaged beautifully. But when I looked at where it was made, it was, you know, coming from China. It had, you know, palm oil in it, when there's great alternatives made here in Ireland that are locally made and, you know, don't use palm oil and obviously don't have that huge carbon footprint, you know, that is attached to that as well. So yeah, I think it's really just about being a little bit more mindful about what you're buying and who you're supporting when you're buying that. And just where possible to sort of shop small as well, because it is the small businesses that are really feeling, I think, the pinch at the moment. And it's, you know, it's like you open up your social media every day and there seems to be another sort of business that's closing down, and it's kind of a very uncertain time. So I think if people can support local, and even by sharing on social media and so forth, which is great, there's actually a lot of people that are rounding up their favorite stores. So I'm always like delighted when I see that I'm on that. It makes a huge difference. And it's just so nice to be able to see the breadth of businesses that are out there that, you know, are based here and are doing amazing things. So yeah, so local this Green Friday. Yeah.
Absolutely. And also something you mentioned to me when we were talking before, ask for advice. You know, someone like you are so knowledgeable about what you sell, as many of our independents are, as many of our shops, our service providers are up and down the country. If you're not sure, ask. People like you, I'm sure, are always happy to advise, to tell you the difference between various products, to maybe show you what's good to use. Because I also remember you telling me the story that actually it was your mum after this gift set, you know, that soap bar that had been flown in from China wasn't very good quality, and therefore she was almost put off by using it. And the fear is, if you're put off using something like that, you're not then going to go and try another version, an Irish brand version, one that actually really works. And so I would absolutely say right now, ask for advice. If you've never used a bar of shampoo before, or eco cleaning products, or actually you've just never been into your local coffee shop, go in and talk to the people there. You know, they're definitely the people to, you know, put you in the right spot, to sell you the right product, or even not sell to you at all, just give you the advice you need to move forward. So I also think that's really important. And again, that's supporting your local brand, because you can share that news and that advice with others.
Yeah, absolutely. And just when you said as well about reviews, like I think that's something that really makes a big impact in my business, because it's great to see, you know, people taking the time to review. I know it takes time. And if I, you know, again, the majority of the reviews that are coming through are 5 stars, which just gives me like, you know, kind of further confidence in it's not just me, you know, talking about how great the products are, but they are resonating with others as well. So yeah, it really does actually make my day when I see you know, open up my emails and I see that there's a review come through from somebody. So it does, it creates those happy dances, you know, for both me and the brands that are producing them.
That's fantastic. I think if that's one big kind of lesson from today, let's make people like Sheila do more happy dances over the next few weeks, because again, I think it makes you feel you're not alone. It's hard for small business to kind of feel that they are on this mission on their own. It can be lonely after Christmas. So I think the more we can kind of support and push through, whether it's the reviews or the shout outs on social media, or even popping in to buy whatever size product or gift this year. Yeah, more happy dancers. I think that's definitely the way forward to kind of turn this Black Friday green. So ladies, before we go, I'd love to give out some more information. Jenny, tell us about Champion Green, the website. Where can people find out more?
So to find out more, you can go to championgreen.ie, and we'd love, you know, consumers to go on there, have a quick look and get behind it, but especially small businesses or any business of any size, go on there and sign up to receive our updates. There are lots of resources there as well. So when you sign up to become a member, you get like a toolkit, assets, all sorts of different kind of imagery and just supports really to help businesses get behind the Champion Green movement and promote the fact that they are a local business. So yeah, championgreen.ie.
It's fantastic to have so many free resources there as well, and to join this incredible community. That's wonderful, Jenny. And Sheila, one final time, tell us about the store, where it is, and also that we can still find you online, of course.
Yeah, so I'm still operating online. So you can, of course, check out the website, which is www.thekind.co. And you can find me in Blackrock Village Centre. That is the original, the OG Blackrock Shopping Centre. And I am up beside Super Value and beside some other amazing shops as well, which really complement my store, like Debray Books. So that's great. So come and have a browse and check out, you know, all of the amazing stores, both around the surrounding Blackrock area as well.
Sounds like a lovely little trip to take at this time of year. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today on the Retail Tea Break podcast. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, as we've said, please, please, please share it across your social media. Get people talking about Champion Green and make sure that you turn this Black Friday green. Thanks, everyone.